Hello, and welcome to Scishow Talk Show. It's a day on Scishow where we talk to interesting people about interesting stuff. Today, the interesting person is Joanna Kreitinger.
Yes.
And you study immunology, which is relevant to me because I have an autoimmune disease. Cure me, now, go. Are you working on anything that would help me?
I am working on something.
Check it out. Sweet.
Yes, isn't that coincidence?
Well, oftentimes immunology is about just figuring stuff out or making the immune system stronger. But I need my immune system to be weaker, and I, in fact, take a medicine to do that for me.
Yes, exactly. And one of the major problems with medication like this is that it can actually suppress your immune response to other things as well, right? So then you can be more susceptible to viral infections,
I know it.
other bacterial infections. Yeah. And so the therapeutic that we're developing can actually target only specific cells in your immune response so that you are still able to mount an immune response to things like the common cold, bacterial infections.
I feel like we're going to talk about that for a while, but first what is immunology and how did you start studying it? And you're at the University of Montana, I assume.
Yes.
Because we're in Missoula.
Yeah.
And you're a PhD student, or are you a postdoc?
I'm a PhD candidate. Yep.
Okay. What did you study, and how did you get to where you're at now?
So I studied organismal biology and ecology as an undergraduate student.
Interesting.
Yeah, I took immunology because I was interested in it. But I don't know. When you think of immunology, what's your first thought? Do you have a first thought?
T cells.
Oh, that's way impressive. Most people think of something like vaccines, for example, right?
Sure.
Or vitamins boosting your immune response or something. So I went into taking this immunology class thinking I'm going to be learning about vaccines. And then the professor listed off a million terms that I had never in my life heard before. But I became so just captivated and impressed with the elegance of the immune system. And so then that kind of fostered this curiosity. I became an undergraduate researcher and then moved on to a PhD.
So right now you're studying some system to selectively turn off immune response of some cells, not in some areas of the body, but of some cells. Is that the
Yeah, so this isn't tissue specific, it's cell specific. So it could be used in a whole variety of diseases that have to do with autoimmune dysfunction.
So give me a list of kinds of immune cells. How many are there? Talking dozens?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's dozens. You want me to start listing them? This is like my comprehensive exams again. I could try. Yeah, so you know T cells.
Sure.
I work with dendritic cells.
Okay.
So dendritic cells are really important because they kind of sense the environment around them, pick up different things from their environment, and then present them to T cells. And T cells then will go mount an immune response, or on the opposite end, they could turn off an immune response. So what we're doing is giving nanoparticles to dendritic cells. These nanoparticles will then...
so like some kind of thing that only a dendritic cell would be interested in?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. So it will be avoided by any other cell type that might want to eat it.
Right.
So only the dendritic cells will want to eat this. They'll get a big meal. The dendritic cells will then go and say, hey, you guys need to calm down toward this certain protein or this certain cell type.
Oh, interesting. So so the dendritic cell can then tell some other cell in the immune system that there's a specific protein that isn't a big deal.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty big. That's pretty huge. Like if you can actually do that.
Yeah. Yes. Because then we can actually give different proteins. So for example, rheumatoid arthritis or something like that, we can give proteins that are specific to that disease and turn off the immune response to it.
How did that research get started? I mean, I feel like this has been a long process. Like it's a specific thing that we would like to do. We are working toward the process of getting it done.
Yeah, so this started way before I even joined the lab. What our lab is also studying is how environmental pollutants suppress our body's ability to fight infections, so how they can alter our immune responses. And through this, my PhD advisor is the one who came up with this strategy. So we can actually use this same pathway that an environmental pollutant is using, but we can use it in a good way.
And like very specifically.
Yes.
So it started with this research on environmental pollutants decreasing our immune system.
Yes.
And we're like, so that's happening. How is it happening? And let's use it.
Yes, exactly.
That's really cool. Could you do the same thing for like a peanut allergy? Because that's protein-specific immune response.
Yeah. There's potential for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But did you know something interesting about a peanut allergy? Did you know that
A peanut is neither a pea nor a nut.
Ooh, it's a legume, right?
That's the most interesting thing I know about peanut allergies.
I learned that cooked peanuts, a protein in the cooked peanut is denatured by the heating process, and that's actually what your body is recognizing.
So you can eat raw peanuts.
Yeah, I don't think that anyone that has a severe peanut allergy
run
should
out and do that.
No, please don't. But yes,
Actually,
raw peanuts.
my guess is that raw peanuts aren't good anyway.
I've never eaten one.
I've never had one either. But I imagine that since that's the case, there's a good reason.
Yeah, but isn't that interesting that this one protein, just being cooked, could actually change it so much that your immune response recognizes it? I think it's interesting.
So I see you've brought a thing.
I have.
What?
I've brought a flask of cells.
Well, it's not just cells.
Well,
It's also water.
There's media in there.
Yeah.
Yes, things for the cells to survive on.
So the cells are in there eating stuff.
Yes.
What kind of cells are in there?
These would be, they're called bone marrow-derived dendritic cells.
Okay.
So they come from the bone marrow of mice, and we derive a certain type of cell. What were you going to say?
I have a friend who actually who removes people's bones, dead people.
Oh, okay. That's a big clarification to make. Yes.
So she takes out, she basically, people who want to donate their tissues, they come through her. We should have her on the show, by the way. They come through her thing, and she takes out all the parts, and they get used for stuff. And some of them get used, in other people. Some of them get used in research. So I thought maybe you were getting some of her bones. But no, they're
we do. Bones. Yes.
So there's a bunch of mouse dendritic cells in there that are coming out of mouse bones.
Yes, exactly.
And are the mice okay? I assume they're fine.
No, they're not okay. This is what is living of them.
This is what's left. Okay.
Yes, that's what has survived.
Hopefully, if you're in the Scishow, you understand that the mice don't make it out of the process. When I was the first time I did mouse research, I had this thought that we were doing cancer research, and I had this thought that the mice that lived through their cancer, we'd be like, oh, good job, mouse. But no, you kill them too. Yeah. And then you have to figure out how they survived and why. So you have to.
No, it's just as important to study a healthy immune system as it is the unhealthy.
I was like, well, the ones that died, we can study them. And they're like, no, all of them. Anyway, so I've got a flask of mouse cells. Are they multiplying in here? Are they?
Yes. Yeah. They're multiplying and differentiating.
So there's more of them at every moment.
Every single second, there's more of them. So you have to guess how many there are at this current moment.
Oh, you're going to try to stomp Hank? I've held these in my hand before, these flasks of cells before. I used to study them, but it's been an awful long time. I don't know. It's more on the order of 9 or 10 zeros. So a billion, 10 billion?
Ooh, no.
100 billion?
Whoa.
Is it less than that?
Yeah.
Oh, you never know.
If this was full.
Maybe.
Yeah.
How many?
Look at that's 20.
Yeah, it is
20 mils.
It's 20. Yeah, 25 milliliters. That's what that is. So it's not in the billions.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you overguess, which makes it less cool. There's 20 million cells in there.
Oh, wow.
Just still in that much volume.
So there's a million
per
milliliter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You would have failed the bean guessing game.
Yeah. We should have had everybody guess. That would have been
take bets.
That would have been more fun.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, rewind. Forget everything you just heard. Did anybody have a guess? 3. We thought maybe 3.
Oh, see, that's Price is Right strategy because he would have won. You would have lost in that moment.
And what are you doing with these guys? So you're studying mouse cells.
Yeah.
For the most part right now.
Yep. Yeah. So it's hard to study the immune system in humans.
If you're studying cells, I got a friend who has a bunch of bones.
Give me her number. But we do use mice.
It's not cheap. The human bones are more expensive.
Yeah. Yeah,
But you
that's
get
true.
way more cells because people are way bigger than mice.
But we can use a lot more mice to get a lot more cells. Right?
That's not a very good way to think about it for the mice. The people are already dead.
Yeah,
But they're yeah.
But
at
the big
least-
reason of using cultures like this is because we can get a lot more data out of much fewer mice.
Right. And you keep them alive, and there are more and more of them all the time.
Yes.
So there's 20 million right now.
Yeah, now there's probably 20.001
Yeah.
million.
Yeah. Because I remember watching, we did time lapses of, I think, something differentiating into a dendritic cell.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a thing that happens?
A progenitor cell would differentiate.
Some kind of white blood cell
Yes.
thing happening.
Yes,
Yeah.
in the bone marrow.
And it was always fascinating to watch it happen. And they dendritic cells, as you might imagine, have all these arms and things sticking
Yeah.
off them. Dendrites.
Dendrites, yeah, like the tree-like form.
Mm-hmm.
That's what dendrite stands for. Yeah, so it is cool to see them go from round cells, which means that they're immature, not likely a dendritic cell, to the branched form. That'd be cool to watch under a microscope.
Fun to see.
Yeah.
And making them do it and saying, you get to be a different kind of cell now.
Right? Rarely do I get to control 20 million of one thing at a time and tell them to be something.
Yeah. It's the control that you're really in it for.
Yeah, the power of it all.
Are you working toward a paper right now?
Yes, we have a few papers going right now on the nanoparticle work as well as on the environmental pollutant work. So those should be out in the next few months.
And when do I get to feed my dendritic cells nanoparticles that will tell the rest of my immune system to not attack my colon?
Ooh, hopefully soon.
While I'm still alive.
Yes.
That's good news. Great. Well, do you want to meet some kind of animal?
I would love to meet an animal.
Okay. Well, I think it's going to be pretty cool.
I don't know what it is.
I do.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm excited.
Did you bring us any mice?
No mice.
Did you bring us
You're
any?
not allowed to have any of my mice.
Okay.
Does the thing that you have dendritic cells? I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you know
What is
do you know how far when did our sort of base level immune system evolve? What do we have it in common with? Do we have it in common with birds? Do we have it in common with snakes?
So Bcells are named after the bursa fabricia, which is in the chicken.
Okay.
So if you think chickens being pretty ancestral.
That's definitely. So we share that with them.
These
Even
are
with dinosaurs then, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dinosaurs too. But
these are farther
more distantly,
removed. Yeah.
more distantly related.
Yeah.
than
You're
birds.
already setting it up. All right.
Oh, sorry.
We have Athena.
It's a coconut,
It's a coconut.
which is more distantly
so funny.
related.
Plants do have immune systems. It's
Yeah.
all chemical based, but
That's pretty cool.
So we have Athena here, and we have Professor
What?
Qua. And I brought two of them because they're the same species. They're emperor scorpions, but they are so different in personalities that I really like sharing them together because
Different in personalities makes me think that one of them is mean.
why would you say that, Hank? All right, so I want you to
Tell me which one the mean one is.
yeah. What do you think? Which one do you think the mean one is?
I don't know. They look the same. They're,
Okay, they don't quite look the same. So okay,
well,
so
one
I'm
looks
gonna-
like a log and the other looks like a coconut. My apologies.
So this is Professor Claw, and if I touch him with that, you can see he's like, oh, what's that? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh. Now if I touch her with this,
Oh, I don't like this one.
oh,
Oh, the tail is moving.
yes.
So they're a different gender? Oh,
wow.
wow.
Yeah.
Isn't she intense?
She doesn't
Yeah.
like
Hate her.
stuff.
Yeah. They are actually siblings. They were born in the same clutch, and they are the exact same age. She could be a little bit grumpier because she is not molted yet, and if you look closely at her, you can see there's a major difference in their bodies.
I get
You
grumpy
guys see
when I don't
that?
molt.
Yeah, I know. It's uncomfortable, right? All right, now you can't see that, Hank. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
Oh yeah, she looks
What do you
kind
see?
of like
Yeah.
foggier, like opaque.
There's like more space between her plates.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So they have they're covered in an exoskeleton, and then they have these really hard plates made out of chitin, and then in between there, it's a softer material, and you can see that her hard chitin is tiny. It's like wearing a jacket that's too small, and she's like busting out the sides. And you can even see on top of her carapace right there, cephalothorax right there where it looks like her eyes are, you can see it's like foggy, and so it's about ready. She's about ready to molt.
So it's just like wearing a pair of pants that are too tight. She's irritated.
Uncomfortable, but she was like this, a year ago too.
Okay.
So
She's always
personality,
been
and then
better.
also a little bit, she's like, oh, I'm gonna get, and look how relaxed he is.
Well, I do feel like also, is it more dangerous to be in it feels like the plates are covering all my sensitive spots, whereas this has like a bunch of soft spots.
Sure.
maybe
And so
I'm-
she's always gonna be on guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be that too. It's just personality too. It's totally personality.
Well, is it
And-
is it a male-female thing?
And we don't know. They haven't been big enough to be able to sex them yet. And
Oh,
so
you don't know the genders?
I don't know. They
I
these are
assumed
made
that
up
since
names.
one was Athena and
Yeah,
the
I
other was
know.
Professor
Yeah.
Claw.
We had
Yeah, me
fourth
too.
graders name them, and they were the best names. We had like Sam and
So at a certain size, you
Poopy.
can Sam and Poopy.
Sam and Poopy were like other options. So Professor
Glad-
Claw and
Yes.
Athena were the best picks.
I don't know, Sam.
Sam
At least
the,
it's
Sam the
gender neutral.
Scorpion?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, so is Professor Claw.
Professor Claw is pretty awesome.
Ooh.
Yeah, and their mother was named Professor Claw too. So
So there comes a point where you can sex them?
yes, yeah, and if they get big enough. So right now, I don't really handle the really, really young ones because they are more apt to use their venom, their stinger, to defend themselves. And when they become bigger, their pinchers get so big that they use that to crush and defend themselves mostly. So they're getting to the age where, I'm going to start handling them. And I'm actually going to handle Professor Claw on the show today. I will not do Athena.
I'm not. No, good call.
I don't think she'd appreciate it, or I would. But I'm going to pick Professor Claw up and see if I can tell if it's a male or a female. Look, you bent forward and she's like, ah.
Yeah, her tail is more like,
Twitchy.
yeah. It
Up,
seems
on guard,
Yes,
and ready.
Where Professor Claw seems more relaxed.
Just relax.
chill.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is, you're going to try to figure out the gender for the first time?
Yes.
It's the big reveal?
On Professor Claw.
Okay.
Yes, we'll see. And the way you can tell the difference is they have, you can look at their pectins underneath, and they're like bristles. It looks like almost like a mustache underneath them. And if they're larger, then it's a male. So I'm going to try and see. All right. Get the heebie-jeebies out. Hi, you.
Oh, yeah, it's so Okay, I'm just going to move a little bit further away from you. Oh, yeah. Oh, so many legs. You got every leg that has ever existed exists on you.
Oh my gosh.
He has 8 legs.
Nope, more than that.
And these front 2 claws are actually modified mouth parts. Those are pedipalps, and tarantula spiders have them as well. But they have just formed into these amazing claws. And if you look really closely, they're covered in these little bristles. So it's not real hair. It's part of their exoskeleton. But they use those bristles to sense the world around them. They have really terrible eyesight, and they actually have 8 eyes. And they can't see very well, just light detectors, basically. And those bristles are there to detect everything around them. Wow. So every time I touch near Professor Claw, he's going to move away. All right. Now I'm looking under and trying to see if I can see. Oh, very small. Very small.
So there's a lady?
Professor Claw's a lady.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah. Maybe Athena's a male now.
Maybe.
On
And
guard.
that's-
We'll see.
that
I don't know.
Might explain some differentiation, but maybe
After
not.
Athena, after he, after they molt, then I will see. I will see what it is.
So how toxic is this?
So their toxin is pretty basic and very mild for scorpions, as scorpions go. They are not deadly to humans. It's like a bee sting.
Okay.
So just a couple proteins and.
Man, I don't know. It doesn't look like a bee sting.
Have you ever seen a video of someone getting stung?
By a scorpion?
Yeah.
No.
There's a couple out there, and it looks like it's going to be like really intense, and they just kind of stick and go bonk.
Yeah, they're just sort of like.
It's just like, yeah, meh, and it just like sticks in there a little bit, and it's like trying to push its little tails in there. But yeah, so if you look closely, what direction is that little stinger pointing?
Oh, it points out away from.
The body.
So like, curves. Sorry.
Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of people think that they're going to like come over and like stab like this, and they don't. So when they do it, they actually come up and under and shoot like this. Yeah, and a lot of people think it's attached to their tail, and arthropods do not have tails. That's actually part of her abdomen.
Wow.
It's pretty.
Do you want to hold her?
No. Pretty specialized set of things. Yeah?
Yeah.
Joanna?
Oh gosh.
You just put your hands out, more two hands.
It's like a bee sting. It's like a bee sting.
We'll see.
You gotta poke her in the other direction. What's that? Oh, I don't like it.
Oh, maybe he doesn't like my lotion. No, Professor Claw.
See how she's just gently moving away from the touch?
Yeah, I like feel you on my chitin spikes.
Wow. Wow. Oh my
And she
gosh.
will fall. She has little grippers on her feet, but not very, she can't grip very well. You're holding a scorpion.
I can't believe it. I don't want to move. Wow.
She's doing so good, and she's feeling it. She's like, what's that?
Okay, just don't pinch me or something.
If she pinches, I mean, it's a good pinch. It actually probably hurts worse to be pinched than it does to be.
Oh, really? Okay, well, you can have Professor Claw back. Thank you.
Good job. You did so good. All right, I'm going to put her back, and I'm going to bring out some molds that we have.
A lobster.
It does look like a lobster. Oh, I hid them so you wouldn't see them.
Do they taste like lobster?
I've never eaten one.
You look at me like I'm a scorpion eater, like that's all I do.
All right, so I said these guys, we had their mother, Professor Claw, and she came to us. We did not know that she was gravid or pregnant. And one day we walked in and she had 19 little white babies on her back. 19!
Wow.
19 of them. And they were all like clustered on her back, and they're little white little guys, and they're all just like hanging on. Over the next like 3 weeks, she fed them, and she'll take a little cricket, and then she'll like tear it into little pieces, and then she'll feed her little babies. And then they grew up, and they molted, and then they all started coming off of her, and they all lived their lives doing their own little things. Some of them ate each other, which is pretty common.
Siblings.
Yeah, sibling rivalry, you know. But we ended up keeping 2 of them. And you can see
Where did the rest of
grown.
them go?
Quite a few we found homes for,
Oh, wow.
and then the rest were
Yeah.
eaten. All right, so
So is this the only 3 in the sequence? 'Cause
no,
there's a big difference.
no, and it was actually really hard because they will sometimes consume their molt, and many of these were actually destroyed. They're super, super fragile, and out of many of them, only 3 of them have survived. 3 of these bigger ones, and I have a couple of the tiny little ones here. But even that looks like more scorpionish than the itty bitty teeny tiny babies. They just look like little maggots almost.
Like, how old is this compared to this?
This is about 3 months old, and that's about like 8 months old.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And then this is about a year old, and these guys are just over 2 years old.
How long do scorpions live?
The emperor scorpions, they can live up to 8 years
Wow.
on average. Yeah.
Bugs always live longer than I would think. Sometimes there's a fly in my house, and I'm like, well, it'll die.
And
But
it's
then, like,
still
3 weeks
there.
later, I'm like,
Are you sure it's
hey,
the
what's
same
up, Jeff?
one? You become friends with
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
All right, I wanted to show you this
Wow.
because you can see the top. And so we were looking at Athena, and we were seeing that she was looking foggy on the top there. And that's actually where it starts to come out. And so they will start pulling their body out and then pull their claws out and then climb out of their exoskeleton.
So it, like, pops out.
Yeah,
at the
it's like a
top.
little hatch on the top.
It's amazing
hold that if you want.
how, like, it doesn't just flake off in little flakes. It, like, stays in one big piece.
Yeah.
Does not seem
Why?
necessary.
Yeah. It's pretty thick. I mean, it protects their
Wow.
whole body. And you can see the tiny little feet on there.
Yeah. And they get, so do you call that a stinger? Or what do you call it?
It is. It's a stinger. Yep.
And they
So
get a
that's a
new stinger every
telson.
time too. So it gets
Yeah.
larger and larger as they
Yes.
get older and
Sure.
older.
So that bulb right there is the telson, and then the stinger's attached to the telson. You can hold it if you want. You can see the little tiny feet and you can see all the hairs on it.
Yeah, the stinger
bristles.
has a bunch of hairs too,
Yeah,
so it knows where
lots
it is.
of feeling on it.
And on the top, so it's like, am I touching a thing? It's trying to get in under something else.
Yeah, it was really fun watching these guys grow up because they would have like these epic battles over the crickets that I'd put in there, and they'd like, one would get a cricket and then the other ones would be like, no, it's mine, no, it's mine, and they'd all be like stinging it, so it'd like get stung like 100 times, and they'd
That
sting
poor
each other.
cricket.
They're immune to each other's venom, and it was just that poor cricket. It was just like immobilized like 100 times. Like, I can't move, guys.
I'm super dead.
Okay,
Super dead.
Do they use their toxin to immobilize prey or predators more? Like, is that a defense or like a food?
So yeah, so when they're young, they're going to use it in defense a lot more than they are as adults. As adults, they're going to just really raise up their claws and use those as defense. And they, when they're young like this, they immobilize their prey with their stinger as well. So when they become adults, they don't use their stinger that often. It's just it's so mild that they have evolved to use their claws over anything else. But a general rule is the bigger the claws, the less venomous they are. So emperor scorpions are the largest, not the longest, but the largest scorpion in the world. And so their claws are really hefty and very, very mild toxin. So like a bee sting. Yeah. But you can imagine how much the ones that are really toxic hurt.
Yeah.
They hurt way worse
And are
than
they
a bee sting.
smaller, so they're harder to see?
Yes.
Coming.
Yes. Like
Those are
little
the ones
tiny
we had in
like
Florida.
desert ones or
Tiny ones.
Yep.
In your shoes.
I want you to look at their mandibles. You know what the mandibles are?
The teeth. The
Yeah.
mouth parts. Yeah.
Did you take a look at those before?
No, they're like also like claws.
Oh yeah, they're like little tiny other claws.
Yes.
It's like the claws except tiny.
Yes. Yes. Multiple claws.
Except again.
Multiple
And
legs.
It's
multiple
yeah, it's
It's
like
so weird. And they like, yeah, so they'll take their big claws and then like put it into their little mouth parts, and then they'll like
right.
mush it up and bunch it up and pick it apart, and then they'll like put it into their actual mouth.
Ah.
It's weird.
It's like well, it's like having you know, you got your biting teeth and you got your chewing teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. Except not teeth.
Except not teeth.
many
Except it's on
little-
the outside
little
of your
claws.
mouth. It'd be like if we had things shooting out of our heads with a big set of teeth and then a small set of teeth, and then our mouths were just empty, gummy.
You can never be told to chew with your mouth closed, though,
Yeah,
right?
no. Oh man, I tell you what, we don't think that we look weird, but we have a bunch of weird bone things sticking out of our faces.
That's true.
This isn't normal.
Yeah.
I always think ear flaps are weird.
Ear flaps?
Because like birds and lizards
Right.
and snakes, like
don't
their
have the
ears are like
skin.
against,
Whales.
and then can you imagine like a whale or a snake with ear flaps?
I like how you call them ear flaps and not just what I call them, which is ears.
Because they're not just ears.
Yeah,
ears.
because snakes have
true.
ears, but they don't have these things. Well, thanks to Athena and Professor Claw. And I'm glad to now we know a little bit more about your scorpions. And oh my, it's just Athena's just attacking the container that the container it is in.
That's just her. Don't judge.
Just who I am. Just who I am.
Wow.
Anyway, and Joanna, thank you for doing your research and also for
Yes.
coming sharing it with us.
Thanks for having
Hopefully,
me.
I'll take one of those pills someday. And of course, thank you for watching. If you want to see more of what Jessi's up to, you can go to youtube.com/animalwondersmontana, where you can see her taking care of, how many animals do you have?
We have 84 right now. We actually have a video on these guys if you check that out. Scorplings, they're called scorplings, baby. Scorpling food fight.
Baby
Scorpling food fight.
Good job. And this is Scishow, and thanks for watching. And you can find more of our stuff at youtube.com/Scishow. I feel like I'm going to say, tell me about that, and then we can talk about it for about 30 minutes. So if you're not ready for that, get ready for it. I find this fascinating.